is the most powerful vehicle on land. And the engines of Sodor are the power behind the docks, industries and branch lines that make up the world-renowned North-Western Railway. These are the stories of Sodor. There's an old saying on Sodor, from every point you'll see where Culdy fell. This expression derives from an ancient legend and refers to the massive peak rising out of the island's center. As I said during my story about the Peel-Godric branch, I was mystified at seeing it up close for the first time. Something I didn't mention, however, was the Culdy Fell Railway. Unlike most other railways, which have been built to service a community or industry, the CFR was solely intended to be a tourist attraction, one whose construction was rife with problems. For starters, the proposed route had it pass through the grounds of a nearby estate owned by Lord Walter Boraine. His lordship resisted this arrangement and only agreed to it after being made chairman of the company. With the route finalized, work began about 4 months after the branch was finished. They made extremely good progress, completing the yard, sheds and starting station at Kirkmashan inside a year. Unfortunately, one of the CFR's directors was found to be embezzling. While he was caught, the money was never recovered. This blow to the company's finances meant its construction had to be abandoned. For the next few years, it was left to rot, until some anonymous investors came to its aid. Whoever these mysterious benefactors were, they must have been keen to see the line completed. Not only did they provide enough capital for new materials, they purchased a number of older engines from the Snowdon Mountain Railway in Wales, and even contracted the Skarloey Railway to build the CFR's rolling stock. The chaps on the SKR were delighted by this, and happy to help. Well, most of them. I won't stand for this. Oh, spare me, Duncan. No, I won't. I won't stay silent about being overworked. Stuff and nonsense. I was there when the schedule was announced. We all had an equal number of jobs. Then how come I've had to help out with 3 of them? First, Duke needed a shove with his passenger train. Then I had to double-head a ballast delivery with Stuart because he couldn't handle it. And now I have to take this lot because René has burst a cylinder. Is he all right? I don't know. All I know is I've got to run these down to Crovan's Gate, only to bring a fuel train back here afterwards. Why are we even building stock for the CFR anyway? Because they'll be running on a similar gauge to us. It makes sense. And I, for one, welcome the job. It is a good source of income for the railway. Isn't that typical? Money, money, money. That's all that seems to matter. It is rather important. A lack of it is the reason why I and my colleagues landed here. And if Sir Handel wants to expand our line, we'll need more of it. Brilliant. Expansion. Where I'll have many more opportunities to be overworked and undervalued. Tell me something, Duncan. What would you do if you couldn't complain? Complain anyway. Ask a stupid question. Well, hello there. Duncan, is it? Nice to meet you. I'm Alaric of the Culdy Fell Railway, and that's Wilfred. Hello. Crikey, I've heard of talking out of your ass, but this is ridiculous. Up here, genius. What a sod. You've got 2 faces? Dear, oh dear, oh dear. If you can't tell the difference between an actual face and one that's been painted on as a laugh, then you're clearly not too bright. Bright enough to know a disaster when I see one. Tilted boiler, slanted funnel and backward spacing cylinders. Who built you? The old cricket squire? No, it was the Swiss. Does that mean you're full of holes? It means we're specially built to tackle gradients the likes of which you never could. Caw. So proud, so cocksure. Let's see how long that bravado holds if you find Culdy's ghost. Pardon? You mean you don't know? Your new mountain home is haunted. Claptrap. Shut it, Will. Go on. One of the ancient kings of Sodor is said to lurk up there. A tyrant and a madman so evil that hell itself spat him back out. More than a few hikers have gone missing up on that peak, never to be seen again. Rubbish. You're just trying to scare us, and you're doing a poor job of it. Fine. Don't believe me. Better it gets you than me anyway. Just don't say I didn't warn you. You think he was just trying to scare us? I think I'm more afraid of what Harry's going to say when we get up there. Oh, yes. If this line doesn't meet his standards, heaven help us all. Yes, yes. All right, we've seen the tool shed, now where do we sleep? I think this is it. What? This will never do. We're much too smart for this old shack. I think it's nice. It's an insult. Come off it, Harry. It's a brand new railway. What did you expect? Something with a measure of privacy, or at least a door. How are we expected to remain in peak condition if we're exposed to the elements all day and night? Heaven help us all. What did you say? That Ernest is right. It's a brand new railway, and we should be grateful for what we have. I second that opinion. Oh, Lord Brain, I assume? Correct. And I apologize this shed is not up to your standards, but we had to economize during the initial phase of construction thanks to an embezzling employee. Embezzling? I'm so sorry, sir. I had no idea. Can we possibly start over? I think that's a splendid idea. I'll start by welcoming you all to Sodor and the Caldyfell Railway. I can see the works did a splendid job with the livery, and I understand you requested you be allowed to keep your original numbers. Yes, sir. We know it might be a bit confusing with half of us numbered 4 and the other half 6. It would be if you weren't also wearing nameplates, but I'm curious to know why you wanted to keep them. The chief mechanic back at Snowdon was a bit eccentric, sir. He believed in lucky charms, numbers, and all that. He believed 4 and 6 were somehow special and bolted them to us. Said they'd bring us luck. Unfortunately, the day after he gave us these, he passed away in his sleep. Despite our reservations about their properties, it would have been disrespectful to remove them. And to his credit, nothing bad has ever happened to any of us. Let's hope this luck holds, and I'm confident it will. Your former manager had nothing but good things to say about you. Workhorses of the finest kind, he said. We'll need that if we're to have any chance of tackling this mountain. About that, sir. Oh, Alaric, I'm just curious. Is this about the legend of King Godric? I don't know, sir. One of the other engines said something about a ghost and missing hikers, which I dismissed as claptrap. You are half right to do so, Wilfred. Yes, it is true that several hikers have gone missing upon that mountain over the years, but many more have reached the summit and returned to brag about it, myself included. As for the ghost, that's part of a larger legend I'll share with you sometime. I personally don't believe it, but it makes for a good story to tell tourists. And I'm hoping to weave it into the business once we're up and running. Well, I think I speak for all of us, sir, when I say you can trust us to make that happen. I like your attitude. Work will begin tomorrow, and there'll be a lot to do. I'll leave you to rest until then. Good day, engines, and again, welcome. A ghost, Alaric. Since when do you believe in such hogwash? I didn't say I believed it. I said I was curious. And now my curiosity is satisfied. Good. I wouldn't want construction to be disrupted by a lot of guff about spooks and specters. But bad-mouthing our accommodation within earshot of our chairman is perfectly acceptable. Shut up. you wanted no guff, Harry. I didn't say it was a ghost. I said the wind sounded very strange. And after hearing the legend of King Godric, I'm convinced it's all rubbish. No offense, my lord. None taken. As I said, I don't personally believe it. I also can't believe how astonishing our progress has been. Perhaps that's why I got a call from London today. Was Her Majesty sending her regards, sir? In a way, the call was from Royalty Trekking. I take it you're familiar with this travel agency. Oh, yes, sir. Most of the tour groups that came to Snowdon were booked through them. They must have been impressed by your work. They not only knew you four were here, they asked if we would be willing to serve one of these groups. Excuse me, sir. Let me explain. Royalty Trekking recently sold a package for a tour group that'll be arriving on Sodor next week. This package included a boat ride up the Earls River, but the boating company went bust yesterday, and they need a substitute experience. They've asked if we are willing to be that experience. Can we do that, sir? Provided we meet all safety requirements, and since every piece of track and infrastructure has been inspected after it was built, our legal counsel says we can start operating. But what do you think? You four have the greater experience with mountains, so I want your expert opinion. Is this a good idea? May I speak freely, sir? Go ahead, Ernest. You said it yourself. We've made astonishing progress in building the line. I think it's important we keep up that momentum. Bringing visitors here will only delay construction. On the other hand, it would be an excellent opportunity for the railway if we're willing to operate in our current state, and if we do a good job. Just think of the publicity. But what if our current state is to our detriment? Most of the stations haven't even been outfitted with lavatories yet. Maybe we can limit the experience to a single location, rush through any furnishing work, and if we have a week to do it, it might be possible. I like that idea. What location did you have in mind? If I may, sir, Devil's Back would be perfect. It's got the lookout, the visitor center. It's also the least developed part of the line. Structural work was only finished yesterday. All right, with one exception, are you all agreed we are in a state to operate? Yes, sir. Sir, I understand your reservations, Ernest. They are duly noted. I'll relay them to Royalty Trekking. I'll also tell them we're willing to expedite a few details, provided the end result is functional and safe. And if it's not, we will not operate. Is that acceptable? Absolutely, sir. Thank you. Not a problem. I'll give them a call first thing tomorrow. Thank you for your advice, gentlemen. Good night. When did you become such a wet blanket, Ernest? I'm being practical, Harry, and you should too. Need I remind you what happened at Snowdon on its opening day? And that was when the line was completely finished. It was also back in 1896, long before our time. And in our time, we've handled hundreds of trains, all without incident. Why? Because we know how to operate safely. I suppose you're right, and it would be nice to entertain tourists again. Attaboy. Ooh, I just had an idea. I'll alert the media. Ha ha. You know how Lord Baraine said he wanted to include the legend of King Godric into the business? I just thought of a way we can, and how to make it more lively. So what do you think, Topham? I think it's absolutely splendid, Walter. This view alone makes it worth the cost of a ticket. Whoa, almost lost it. That wind's got some pull to it. Actually, this is a quiet day. Sometimes it really howls and makes the most unusual sounds. What kind of sounds? It's hard to describe. Has everyone else been saying it's Caldy's ghost? Oh, yes, but it would make for good timing if it goes off while the legend is being told. And if it doesn't, Alaric's come up with a very amusing idea for that. In fact, let's head down. The guide should be starting up soon. Are you going to leave me in suspense about your engine's idea? Of course. Gather around, ladies and gentlemen, gather around. You're all in for a treat. You are about to hear the legend of King Godric. Godric was the eldest son of the Danish king of Limerick, who saw fit to take up the Viking lifestyle. His raiding and reading took him far and wide, until he came upon Sodor, which was ruled by a brutal tyrant named Caldy. The despot did not take kindly to these intruders and engaged them in many battles, including one so violent, so bloody, the site on which it was fought was thereafter known as Kildane. Godric barely escaped that terrible skirmish with his life and retreated to Limerick, where he regrouped and returned with a much larger Viking army. This invasion had the support of the people, who rose up against their overlord. Faced with assaults and insurrections, Caldy's armies were shattered. He tried to flee, but only made it as far as this mountain. It was here that Godric slew his rival in single combat. It was here that Caldy fell. With this victory, Godric was named King of Sodor and ruled for 10 glorious years. Then one day, word reached him his old adversary might have returned. that the devil had sent him back. Moved by a desire to protect his kingdom, and likely eager to kill his nemesis again, Godred set off for the mountainside and never returned. Some say he perished on the climb up, others claim Kuldi ambushed and dragged him into hell. But there's also the chance the pair are locked in an eternal duel, and if you listen closely, you might just hear their battle cries. Sorry, folks. Well, that went brilliantly, don't you think, Will? Will? Oh, sorry. Did you miss it? No, I didn't miss it. Then what were you looking at? That mountain goat over there. What's that in its mouth? Has anyone seen my hat? How did he react? He was very good-natured about it. Apparently, it's not the first time he's lost a hat to a hungry goat. Marvelous. Much like our performance today, the passengers were very complimentary, and I'm sure you took their praise in stride. There's nothing wrong with feeling proud about a job well done, Wilfred. And I did say our performance. I'm sure you two were more than adequate. And to think Ernest was, wait a minute, where is Ernest? I was talking, now I'm talking. Where's Ernie? He took a works train up to the base of the summit. I thought we weren't doing any work on the line today. Change of plans, I suppose. Now, if you two don't plan on interrupting me again, I'd like to talk about my experience with the group. We don't plan on interrupting Harry, because we don't plan on listening. Impudent cad. What is that? Bothered if I know, and if I want to know. You'd think after more than a year of traipsing up and down this mountain, I'd be used to that sound, and this height. You never get used to it, Cappy, and you shouldn't. That leads to complacency, and that causes trouble. Speaking from experience? Yes. Back at Snowdon, I once took a train of visitors like I had 100 times before. On the way down, I wasn't paying attention, confident nothing would happen. I didn't realize the line was blocked by a small landslide. I crashed into it and derailed. Were the passengers all right? For the most part. A few cuts and bruises, but nothing serious. But they demanded their money back, and the manager had to give it to them. He was not pleased. I swore from that day on to never again be so reckless. Oh dear. Oh dear indeed. Come on, lads. Sounds like a storm is coming. We better head back down. All right, lads. You heard him. Pack it up. You ever been on a mountain during a storm? Yes, which is why we need to get out of here fast. Phew, that was close. At least he didn't crash into this one. No, but there is something I didn't mention about the time I did. One, it took nearly 9 hours for them to rescue me. What? And unfortunately, it took longer for the CFR to rescue its other number 4, 19 hours to be precise. Though its engines wanted to help, they knew they couldn't because of the storm. It persisted for the rest of the day and into the night. It wasn't until morning that Ernest, Catherine, and the workmen were rescued, tired and wet, but unharmed. The track was likewise intact, and construction resumed that day. It took another year to reach the summit, and following its grand opening, the Kuldi Fell Railway became one of Sodor's greatest attractions. That mysterious whistle can still be heard from time to time. The supposed cause is wind blowing through a peculiar rock formation, a detail that guides only ever mentioned when pressed. And I say supposed because it's never been confirmed. The reason being is the entire mountain was declared a nature reserve that year, with all hiking on it becoming illegal. Some tried to flaunt this rule and received hefty fines or even jail time. There has always been the suspicion such measures were imposed because they found something on that mountain, something better left alone. What that could be, I have no idea. What I do know is the favor the CFR did for royalty trekking would have some very interesting ramifications for the island, but that is a story for another day.